I'm in the Fayette, Fairport, Faith, Horn, Iron Mountain, Flat Rock, Freda, Ishpeming, Tri Mountain, Kearney, Pelkey, Champion, Meriwether, Glamour. Hi, this is Jim Islip with MSU Extension, and this is What's Up at UPREC on April 7, 2021. Today we'll visit with James Dedecker and Christian Kapp as they prepare for oat and barley variety trial work this spring.
All right, hello everyone. Today we are going to be looking at the steps that we take to prepare for our MCIA-funded spring small grain trials. This is funded by Michigan Crop Improvement Association, and this is a combined effort to test both spring oats and barley for utilization both in craft beverages in Michigan as well as more common uses for feed or for milling. We're sourcing oats and barley from a few different projects or cooperators across the country. On the oat side, we have what's called the Uniform Early Oat Nursery. And this is a collaboration of oat breeders from across the country, mostly Midwest states, but also University of California. And oat breeders from these various states are submitting their numbered lines into the early nursery, and then collaborators across the country are testing this consistent set of material and sharing data with one another and back with the breeders so that they can continue to improve their oat lines that they have available for growers, and eventually, hopefully some of them reach commercialization so that farmers can plant them on their farms. The barley piece of this is what used to be the Eastern Spring Barley Nursery, and that's a project organized by North Dakota State University and Dr. Rich Horsley. That project had been funded by the Brewers Association. That funding ended, and so this year we're able to kind of transfer that over under the MCIA project and continue to test a set of about 25 spring barley varieties that are malt barley varieties specifically here in Michigan and in collaborating states and universities across the Midwest and East US. In addition to the early open oat nursery and the spring barley lines coming from what was the ESBN, MCIA likes to throw in some additional commercial material as well. So we do have some commercial oat and barley varieties that on the oat side are named varieties that farmers have access to now that kind of serve as our check varieties. And on the barley side, in addition to the malting lines, we have some feed lines that are of interest to MCIA and growers in Michigan as well.
What we have here is our seed burrow count and pack seed counter. One of the first steps that we do when we have varieties come into the lab is we need to determine seeds per pound in order to calculate our seeding rate. The method or way of doing this is to count out 1,000 seeds and then take the weight of that in grams. So first, obviously, you pour your seed into the bowl. This is a vibratory bowl, and run single batch, speed, sensitivity, count. We want 1,000. Now we press start. And so now the bowl is starting to vibrate, and the bowl is made to vibrate the seeds up in a circle. And the seeds will fall through this little eye right here, this laser, and that's how they get counted. So another nice thing about this seed bowl is that you can adjust it for the seed size by moving this plate in or out. This plate right here, it also controls if there's two seeds that are riding along right here, one seed will drop off and you only have one travel into your eye. One thing you do want to be careful of with the seed counter is you don't count too fast, because then the seeds will go through the eye too fast and your count will be inaccurate. It can count anything from hemp to soybeans to corn. You pretty much name it, and we've probably actually run it through here. And so then after we get to our 1,000 seeds, there's a little flapper gate that will flap over and shut this off and then divert the next batch over to this side. So So after we record our 1,000 kernel weight, and we record all of our data that we collect on our varieties right into Google Drive, it just streamlines our process. Our next step is to assess the germination potential of our varieties. And so just take 2 pieces of #1 filter paper, count out 100 seeds, place them on top of the filter paper, and then just add distilled water. And we've been using 6 milliliters of distilled water. You want to be careful that you don't add too much water because then you'll reduce germination. And then we want to make sure that we have enough water to get a good assessment of the germination viability of the seed. Then we cover the top when we're done and we place it into our germination chamber. Here's our germination chamber. As you can see right now, it's full of barley samples. But we would place the dish into the chamber, shut the door, and then we're able to control the temperature and the light and the time of the test with this chamber. After we have all of our varieties in the lab or on a list, we then enter the varietal names into our ARM database. And it's really more than a database. You can develop a protocol for your research. You can develop and create individual trials. And so here we have our current oat list of 36 varieties. Then you're able to create your map. Here is your plot map. So it has each of the treatments randomized within each replication, and each replication is colored a different color. So we have 3 replications in this trial. On this trial is the square lattice. The other powerful thing about this program is you're able to input whatever plot designs you want. You can come in and look at the concurrence and make sure that you don't have a treatment next to another treatment or a treatment always on the edge. And so then we take that map and print it off, and after we get done weighing out our seed, we would use this map to put our seed packets in order, and then we would be ready to go out into the field and plant. So this would be almost the final step in packaging our seed. We want to see how many grams of seed we need per each packet. So this is basically our seeding rate. We're seeding 53 grams of seed in our plot in our treatment area. One other nice thing about ARM is the fact that it can also create labels for ease in packaging seed. And treatment 1 requires 53 grams of seed. Then we put the seed into our seed packet. Fold it over and staple it. And so our goal here is to make sure that we have the same amount of seeds basically in each plot. We want to make sure that everything that's planted is seeded at 28 seeds per square foot in order to reduce our variability. We adjust our seeding rate due to seed size and weight.
So that's our process for prepping our spring small grain trials. Later on in a few weeks when we get ready to plant, we'll have you come back and see what that process looks like to lay out the plots in the field and actually get them planted.
That's what's up at Uprec. Hope to see you again next time.
And a cootie geese sandwich like you get 'em in the